What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update that you guys could probably already tell. It is going down. Just by that title alone, definitely gonna want to see this one, as we got bad news coming for that corrupt judge Juan Merchan. In this newest update, guys, looks like Donald Trump's legal troubles with this crooked judge are finally coming to an end, guys. I'm excited to get into it, so we're not straight into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Politics of this. What Judge Merchan allowed Trump to do in the middle of this election was to give him a platform a couple times a day. The cameras are parked outside the courtroom looking down the hallway, and Trump took advantage of it every time he walked in and walked out. And every cable outlet covered it. All that stuff was distributed on social media. You can crack on Biden for running a lackluster campaign at the time, but, Trump took the stage and took advantage of that moment. Jonathan, does this case come back when he leaves the White House in 2029?
Well, it can. It's a sort of a curious position to put the president in. Some might even view it as passive aggressive, because you leave this dangling sort of Damocles over his head. And so his critics will say he's awaiting sentencing, and you make it more difficult to appeal some of these issues. Keep in mind that the sentencing issue aside, and I doubt that the judge would have sentenced him to jail time, this case has layers, in my view, of reversible error. I think that the judge did a horrible job in this trial. He ruled regularly and consistently against Trump, and in some cases, I think that he did commit reversible errors. So freezing this in amber is not going to be necessarily good news for the Trump campaign. I think they
Guys, we have to remember exactly what this judge did, this crooked judge. I mean, this is the same judge let Michael Cohen, the known liar, get up there and lie on the stand testifying against Donald Trump when he should have been the one being prosecuted. And he also put a gag order on Donald Trump while this guy Michael Cohen was free to go get paid on TikTok, blasting Donald Trump day in and day out while the case was going on. It just doesn't make sense. This is the judge we're talking about, guys. I just have to give a little reminder.
They were eager to appeal this, to get a final decision and to at least appeal aspects of this. So there's going to be some maneuvering going on as to what can be still reviewed. In terms of leaving a case suspended for 4 years, it's just a very odd way of addressing this. The sentencing only created a conflict with the president's presidential duties if the judge sends limitations upon the president. I mean, he could have simply said, I'm not going to impose jail time or home confinement. He could even say that being president is equivalent to community service. So there's a lot of ways that he could have handled this. So I think as we play this out a bit, we're going to have to see what the Trump lawyers do. I don't know if they will necessarily welcome the idea that they're just going to keep this thing sort of as a zombie case for 4 years.
Professor, stand by, and we're going to get to this whole issue that Andy raised about this political quid pro quo, which would be the ultimate, right?
That's right.
The ultimate pinch me moment here. So stand by for that. We got more.
And Carrier Bond, you were in the courtroom for all of this that happened in New York City. Tell us what you think about the decision to delay.
I think the Trump lawyers had to expect this to some extent because, they did file just a few days ago saying that because Donald Trump is now president-elect, it raises all kinds of new constitutional questions that the court has to consider as far as both, on one hand, the immunity issue from the Supreme Court, but also sentencing, given that he obviously, if he were to be sentenced to anything, wouldn't be able to execute that sentence because he will be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But a couple thoughts come to mind. One, I've been wondering what Governor Hochul is thinking. She has the power to pardon him in this. And it could be an interesting decision on her end. I've wondered if Donald Trump is having, and his people are having conversations with her right now, because as we know, the state of New York, it's a bit of a mess as far as how they run law enforcement there. So I've wondered about that. But, you know, look, in the big picture here, the thing that has always tremendously bothered me about this case is that I think a huge point of this was for the Democrats to get the talking point convicted felon. And the reason and the way they were able to make him a convicted felon was to say that he committed these misdemeanors. He was covering up some underlying crime. And the real travesty in all of this is that we and he still don't know what those underlying crimes are because we weren't told. So Donald Trump became the so-called convicted felon, and we still don't even know why or how exactly.
Right, Carrie, you were in the courtroom.
Sure,
you came on the air. You came on the air repeatedly. You were taken back by the absurdity of the case itself. And obviously, your opinion has not.
I mean, this whole case has been tangled from the beginning between his, wife and his TikTok daughter. I mean, this judge, we've been calling for him to step down, recuse himself from the case from the moment it commenced. And it just doesn't make sense how we got to the point where we're getting a conviction from this case that was nothing, the lack thereof. It just doesn't make sense.
First, the case itself, and obviously, your opinion has not changed.
No, it hasn't changed at all. I still think it's a disgrace.
Melania there. The incoming First Lady is expected to skip her meeting with outgoing First Lady Jill Biden. So is there bad blood? A New York Post source says yes, claiming that it stems from the FBI's raid of the Trump's Florida home. Now, the source familiar with Melania's decision telling the Post, quote, she ain't going. Jill Biden's husband authorized the FBI snooping through her underwear drawer. The Bidens are disgusting. I
mean, rightfully so, though. We have to reflect back on what they took Melania Trump through. She went into hiding at one point. She wasn't out campaigning with Donald Trump when his campaign first commenced because the way they drug her name through the mud and also the way they came after her husband, the political witch hunt, the legal lawfare, and then the dangerous rhetoric, that led to the attempts on his life. It was just way too much. I don't blame her one bit for not wanting to sit down with this lady.
And Melania Trump released this video about the raid back in September. Watch.
I never imagined my privacy would be invaded by the government here in America. The FBI raided my home in Florida and searched through my personal belongings. This is not just my story. It serves as a warning to all Americans, a reminder that our freedom and rights must be respected.
A powerful video, Kaylee, that might portend this decision, why she refuses to meet with Joe Biden.
She is a wife to Donald Trump. She is a mother to Barron. She is someone who has feelings. She's a human being, regardless of what the media tries to do to her. And they say, CNN says, oh, it was a prior scheduling conflict. It has not been finalized yet. But I think this is the incoming First Lady saying, I'll do it my way. We know Donald Trump loves that song from Frank Sinatra. This is her way of saying that. Because to her point just there, the lawfare, the raid of Mar-a-Lago, I just want to remind everyone of that New York Times Katie Rogers story where Biden said to a close circle of advisors that Trump posed a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted. Okay? Forgive her for saying, I don't want to meet with the husband of the person who told that to a close group of advisors.
Yeah, and I applaud this decision as well, Kaylee, because I think it reflects, to your point, an independence, a free thinking, a self-decision making on the part of the former and future First Lady Melania that says, I don't care what you are telling me to do. I am not, because I'm standing up for principle, which it seems the past administration has not.
Right, and you can't blame her. Keep in mind that just weeks before the first assassination attempt on President Trump, Jill Biden was on the campaign trail telling voters that Donald Trump was evil. No offense, but I wouldn't want to have tea with someone who called my husband evil either. And it isn't just Jill Biden. You remember back after Trump's inauguration when Michelle Obama was publicly sniping Melania Trump, who had offered Michelle Obama a gift at the White House that day. And you think about all the ways that the leftist media have dragged her name through the mud. They vilified her for redecorating the Rose Garden, for Pete's sake. They vilified her over a jacket, for not decorating the White House for Christmas the way they liked. all of these trivial things that they used against her simply because they disagreed with her husband's politics. I can't blame her for feeling the way that she does, and I hope that she continues to set healthy boundaries for herself.
Yo, there we have it, guys. That was very refreshing to see. Melania Trump, she is reciprocating the energy that she's getting or she's gotten in the past from the left, and those on the left by just simply sitting out on it. She doesn't have to meet with Jill Biden. She's not going to be the sitting commander in chief. She's just the first lady. She's like, I don't have to meet with her, especially after the way they've talked about my family. They've tried to come after my husband. Can't say that I blame her one bit, you guys. And then we've got Judge Juan Merchan, who looks to be trying to tread lightly on that whole Trump case. I think he's going to move to vacate the sentencing because it just does not make sense. He's going to delay it for 4 years and allow it to become a zombie case. So they could essentially be able to hold this over Trump's head to say that, he's awaiting sentencing. As soon as he's out of the White House, the Oval Office, he's going to be, sentenced and a convicted felon. I mean, come on. We've seen this was another charade attempt to get after Donald Trump by Alvin Bragg, this whole Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen being one of the star witnesses who is a known liar. I mean, none of it made sense. And then we never really got what this whole case was brought about for, like the charges of the case. Didn't make sense. Very unclear, guys. Definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the case. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.